Hello, you're watching VNa's broadcast daily from Hanoi. Our latest highlights for this hour.
Prime Minister Witten Tan Zoom receives former European Commission UK leaders. National Assembly Standing Committee convenes 16th session. Regional countries gather in Hanoi for a forum on waste management.
Prime Minister Witten Tan Zoom has said Vietnam wishes to enhance cooperation with Italy and European Union countries in all fields on the basis of equality for mutual benefits and development.
Zoom made the statement at a reception for former Italian Prime Minister and former President of the European Commission, Romano Prodi, on March 18th. The Prime Minister affirmed Vietnam's desire to be a friend, trustworthy partner and responsible member of the international community. He said Vietnam and other ASEAN countries wish to maintain peace and stability in the region to successfully establish the ASEAN community by 2015. He expressed his hope that Prodi and the EU will continue contributing to peace and stability in the region and support Vietnam in solving disputes in the East Sea by peaceful means on the basis of international law and the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. The former EC president expressed his delight with the developing relations between Vietnam and Italy, as well as between Vietnam and the EU in all fields. He pledged to do his utmost for the development of relations between Vietnam and the EU, and between Vietnam and Italy in particular. The same day, Zoom hosted a reception for former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, during which he spoke highly of Blair's contributions to elevating the two countries' cooperative ties to a strategic partnership. Zoom expressed his hope that Blair will further contribute to strengthening ties between Vietnam and the UK and the EU in all fields. The former UK Prime Minister said his office is working closely and effectively with the Vietnamese Foreign Ministry in consultation, support and enhancement of economic, trade and investment cooperation between the two countries. He pledged to continue supporting relations between Vietnam and the UK, as well as between Vietnam and the EU in all areas, especially in economics and public-private partnerships.
The National Assembly Standing Committee convened its 16th session in Hanoi on March 18th. Deputies at the event will discuss the draft amendments and supplements to several laws.
They will comment on the draft laws on amendments and supplements to some articles of the Added Value Tax Law, the Corporate Tax Law, and the Law on Fire Prevention and Fighting. The laws on amendments and supplements to some articles of the laws on emulation and commendation and residence will also be put on the table. Others include the laws on thrift practice and waste prevention and reception of citizens. The deputies will debate a scheme to renovate apparatus of legislative bodies, preparations for collecting confidence votes on those elected or approved by the National Assembly, and preparations for the 5th session of the 13th legislature. On the occasion, they will adopt an ordinance on amendments and supplements to some articles of the Foreign Exchange Ordinance. As scheduled, a question and answer session will take place within one day.
A delegation from the Communist Party of Vietnam has attended an international workshop called Political Parties and a New Society in Mexico City. The event drew more than 1,000 delegates from 38 countries.
Addressing the event, Trần Đức Lợi, Deputy Head of the Party's Central Committee's Commission for External Relations, presented general lessons on Vietnam's socialist-oriented national development. The Vietnamese head delegate stressed the country's awareness of the great challenges faced when building socialism in current conditions. On the sidelines of the event, the delegation had talks with a number of political parties in Latin American countries and other nations. While in Mexico City, the Vietnamese delegation paid tribute to the President Ho Chi Minh statue. They visited some historical and cultural relics.
A 3-day forum on waste reducing, reusing and recycling to protect the environment opened in Hanoi on March 18th.
Deputy Prime Minister Nguyen Thiet Nguyen said the forum is a new opportunity for Vietnam to learn from 30 Asian Pacific nations' experience in waste management. It is a chance for Vietnam to bolster cooperation with the United Nations Center for Regional Development, the Japanese Ministry of Environment, and participating nations in environmental protection, efficient use of energy and resources, and coping with climate change, Nguyen said. The forum will focus on measures to effectively use resources, consider new emerging issues, and infrastructure for waste reducing, reusing, and recycling. The participating nations are expected to adopt a declaration on sustainable waste reducing, reusing and recycling goals for Asia for the 2013 to 2023 period.
Germany will provide internships for Vietnamese students as well as information on employer job requirements to help Vietnamese schools map out appropriate training plans. This is part of a cooperation announcement inked between Vietnamese and German ministries in Hanoi on March 18th.
Under the announcement, schools and businesses at ministerial and state levels, German organizations in Vietnam encompassing German international cooperation, business association, delegations of industry and commerce, and embassy will work closely with the Vietnamese Ministries of Education and Training and Labour, Invalid and Social Affairs in human resource training. Vietnam's rate of trained workers has continued to grow, from 16% in 2000 to 40% in 2010. However, the number of those workers who meet job requirements is still low and in need of improvement. Close cooperation between German firms and the Vietnamese education system is expected to address the current shortage of skilled workers in Vietnam.
Vietnam Airlines has completed preparations for the official launch of a direct service between Cam Ranh International Airport in the central coastal province of Khánh Hòa and Moscow.
The national flag carrier said the service will be launched on April 5th, offering one flight every Friday using Boeing 777s. Charter flights from Russia's Far East to Cam Ranh Airport have continuously increased over the past 3 years, with an average 7 to 8 flights per week in winter and 1 to 2 during other seasons of the year. Last year, the number of visitors from the Russian region to Cam Ranh increased by 20.6%. The Moscow-Cam Ranh air route is expected to help draw more Russian tourists to Vietnam's central coastal localities. Khánh Hòa province welcomed 420,000 foreign visitors last year. It set a target of doubling the number by 2015.
As many as 67 Vietnamese enterprises have been presented with 2012 National Quality Awards at a ceremony in Hanoi on March 17th.
Among those companies honored, 17 were given gold medals, while the remainder received silvers. In addition, 3 companies were presented with the Global Performance Excellence Award by the Asia Pacific Quality Organization. Speaking at the ceremony, Deputy Prime Minister Nguyen Thiet Nguyen said the award is the recognition of efforts by Vietnamese enterprises in a difficult economic situation. He expressed his hope that it will drive Vietnam's 400,000 active businesses to improve product quality and to build a good reputation in domestic and international markets. More than 1,400 businesses have been presented certificates of merit since the awards were launched in 1996.
That's all we have for today. I'm Ngọc Hà and the rest of the team. Thank you always for being with us, and please tune in the program throughout the week for more updated news.